What's up, everyone? This is Ryan with Danger's Edge. I'm climbing up the trail. I've been going up and down all day. Feeling great. Just did a new jump, so feeling in the zone, and felt like thinking and talking a bit, so I like sitting on this rock. What I was thinking about today is how pretty much everything in life is a spectrum. Whether it's light or emotional bandwidth or your odds of doing things, everything comes down to a spectrum. There's like definitive yes and no's, but when you think about it in a spectrum, those are like the extremes. Like if you think of like the political spectrum, you know, there's a lot in the middle, and you know, I think our brains kind of work in spectrums in the sense of calculating, all right? Like, I'm always going to use this example of mountain biking because I'm out here. But if you're like, say you're going down the trail and there's a jump that you're trying to do that you haven't done yet, and you look at your odds of doing it as like a spectrum, right? And the spectrum is a culmination of all the things that you need to have in order to land a trick. So on the landing the trick side of the spectrum, you have a functioning bike. You have like stamina left over from riding to do the jump. On the other hand, you have like a broken bike, right? Like your odds are significantly lower on a broken bike, but in some cases you could still do it. And so what really is the point of all this spectrum talk is that a lot of it is controlled by this thing, your mind. So when you think of like a spectrum, like going to a jump, I'd say like 60% of it at least is your mental fortitude and the thinking that goes into it. I think naturally you're instinctually not gonna want to do a jump that's like scary. There's no quote unquote reason to do it, right? Besides like thrill and progression. But survival instincts kick in and all these thoughts come in your head of not wanting to do it. And that's slowly moving the spectrum towards the not gonna land it mindset or reality. So you need to, like I said in a few other videos, fortify your mind. That's gonna push the spectrum of like ways in which you land it, universes where you land it, to be more likely, you know? And just like, sounds like someone's going by. Just like the spectrum of light, there's a lot of things that affect the spectrum of success, we'll call it, that we can't see or we don't recognize, you know? It could be like the temperature or the acidity of the drink you're drinking, or I don't know. You watched a TV show and it stuck with you, and now you keep having this song in your head when you're supposed to be focusing. So what it really comes down to, I wanted to shift this conversation about spectrums, because that's the setting, and the way that you can deal with it through these fortifying your mindset, prepping your bike and stuff, is what you would call marginal gains. The idea where it takes 100% to do something, right? Well, maybe if you drink a little more water, that's 1% more likely that you're gonna do it. Or you switch your shoes, the shoes with better soles, so it's 2% now. And if you look at like sports at high level competitions, there's a lot of stories of people utilizing marginal gains, like, you know, having the team relax right before a competition, like, you know, all these little tiny things really add up, just like an investment account, right? You got your investments and they compound, and that's exactly what can happen with marginal gains. You look at the spectrum of success, you do these things, you sleep well, you drink water, they're all 1% leading you the right way, and they're compounding on top of each other. And what I wanted to conclude with this is, what all this does for you is it reduces anxiety that you feel at the end of the day in the moment. It's a cool bike, little motor on that guy. We get a couple of those up here, and I'm jealous because I am just pedaling my butt off. But yeah, so essentially you have your spectrums, which are everything: odds of doing a jump, odds of getting a certain job. You use marginal gains to progress there, you know, polishing your resume, you know, new LinkedIn photo, like all these little things that add up. And each time you do this, of 1% of the likelihood of you getting the job or landing the jump, the percentage you're bumping through marginal gains is reducing the percentage of anxiety that you're gonna feel. Now, this might be not the case for everyone, but this is essentially how I operate. And whenever I get anxiety at night, where I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do these certain things and they're hanging over my head, the one thing that I do to attack these anxieties the best I can is I pull out my phone and I just type out single word or 2-word, or you know, however many words, like in a list in my notes of like things to add to my calendar. And so I'm putting my thoughts out of my head onto, you know, paper in my notes on my phone. But it, you know, I know it's held somewhere else. So whenever I'm doing something that is intense to me, I either, you know, prep as much as I can before it, or I write down the, you know, you can say write down, or in the case of mountain biking, before I go down the hill, I fortify. You know, I get all these thoughts organized in my brain, so that way when the moment comes, I don't have to calculate that, and I can trust in the marginal gains that I've already made to help me push the spectrum to the part where I'm gonna do it. Yeah, and you know, there's also the random part where sometimes you don't even think about any of this, and you're just following a guy on the trail. He hits a jump, you're like, sure, I'll just do it. I don't know what it looks like. And it could work out because life is random. But anyways, I'm gonna get this last lap. It's supposed to rain this weekend, so I had to double dip. But it's been Ryan with Danger's Edge. Just another ramble on the road. And yeah, I'll catch you guys at the bottom. Bye.